Most people think that they're training hard, but they're really training to the point of discomfort, not failure. About 99% of my clients that say they train to failure at the very, very beginning, about 1% of those actually do. True failure means the muscle physically cannot complete one more rep. Even if someone had a gun to your head or to your children's head or to your loved one's head, and you still couldn't get that one more rep out. Very few people ever get there, but eventually they do. And they start to embrace that discomfort. And this isn't criticism, this is awareness. The human body doesn't change when it's comfortable. It changes when it's given no choice. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of the Kris Gethin Podcast. Now, you guys sent in some raw, honest questions this week, and I appreciate that because the truth is, most people don't fail because they don't care. They fail because they get in their own way. So today, I'm reading through some of my clients' questions and community questions. So these are the ones that represent the real life obstacles that people face and my clients face when trying to stay consistent. So I'm going to go through some of these questions now. I'll start with number one here. Kris, I really want to stay on track, but life is so hectic right now. I'm getting married soon. I'm going to be traveling. Work is mental. Should I put a pause and start fresh when things come down? So this one is so common. I could copy and paste it from my inbox every week. But here's the truth. Life never calms down. You're not pausing training. You're pausing momentum. And momentum is absolutely everything if you want to make this a lifestyle. So every time you stop, you're not just taking a break. You're teaching your brain to say, that's okay to quit. Life gets busy. But guess what? Life will always get busy. And sometimes there'll be unsurprising things or surprising things happening, and you'll be getting caught by that element of surprise. So even if you cannot train 5 days a week, do something. Go walking, do some mobility, do shorter sessions. Keep that spark alive, because it's a lot easier to adjust your intensity than rebuild your identity. So, I travel a lot. My work schedule is absolutely insane. I've gone through, I can't remember how many injuries. Do I stop? No, I control my environment. Why? Because this is a lifestyle. I want to ensure that I am harder to kill. I can control my environment no matter how difficult, how many time zones that I'm traveling through, etc. This is the same for you. It is more important for you to keep that consistency and have that neurogenesis or those neurons in your brain coming up with solutions instead of coming up with excuses. Question 2, I've been skipping my weekly check-ins because I've had a bad couple of weeks and I didn't want to disappoint you. This is based on me basically calling out clients and this is their response. So I hear this a lot and it breaks my heart every time because you don't check in when everything's perfect. You check in when everything's not, because that's when coaching matters the most. If you ghost me because you're off track, how am I supposed to help you get back on? You're not failing by struggling. You're failing by staying silent. Honestly, it doesn't get you judged. It gets you solutions. So be honest. And when you send your check-ins consistently, even when you feel embarrassed, that is when the growth starts. The clients who check in during their worst weeks are the ones who always end up with the best transformations because they're never hiding from the truth and they never will. So you've got to put your vulnerability out there in order to be helped. Question 3, do I really need help? Do I really need to keep logging my food, my training, my sleep, my hydration? I feel like I know what I'm doing now. Now, that's usually the point where people start slipping, is when they think they know, but tracking isn't punishment, it's awareness. When you stop tracking, you stop noticing. You stop noticing the slow creep of extra calories. You stop noticing the training days that slide from 5 to 3. You stop noticing how your sleep's dropping, but your caffeine's climbing, that you may have overeat or you may have missed a meal. Even I still log my sessions because the feedback keeps me accountable to the truth, not my excuses. You can't manage what you can't measure. So measure it, period. Question 4. I train really hard. I'm drenched by the end of every session, but my body hasn't changed in months. What am I missing? Intensity and effectiveness aren't the same thing. Sweating doesn't equal progress. Most people think that they're training hard, but they're really training to the point of discomfort, not failure. About 99% of my clients that say they train to failure at the very, very beginning, about 1% of those actually do. True failure means the muscle physically cannot complete one more rep, even if someone had a gun to your head or to your children's head or to your loved one's head, and you still couldn't get that one more rep out. Very few people ever get there. But if I have a video from a client and I say, yeah, that's not failure, a lot of the time they turn around and say, yes, it is. I'm thinking, oh my God, you just really don't get it. But eventually they do, and they start to embrace that discomfort. But if I'm standing next to you and you rack that bar saying I can't, I'll say, show me. And 9 times out of 10, there's like 2, 3, sometimes 5 more reps left in that person. And this isn't criticism, this is awareness. The human body doesn't change when it's comfortable. It changes when it's given no choice. Number 5, I keep falling off after, say, 8 to 10 weeks. I'll do everything right, the training, the meals, the routine, the sleep. Then it all unravels. What is wrong with me? Well, there's nothing wrong with you. You're just running a sprint in a marathon sport. You go all in, perfect macros, perfect gym schedule, but then when life gets hard, you have to work extra hours, you get injured, a family thing comes up, you have no middle gear. And the goal isn't always to be perfect, it's to be adaptable. You have to fall off. Well, you don't have to fall off every time things go sideways. You just lower the volume, scale back, shorten your sessions, keep your habits alive, though. Fitness isn't something that you pause, it's something that you adjust. So you have to stop chasing the perfect phases. Chase the permanent structure instead. Question 6, I've been on this journey before. I've lost weight, I've gained muscle, felt great, but I always end up going back to where I started when I don't have training or you as a personal trainer. Why can't I hold on to it? Because you probably treated the transformation like a destination and not a foundation. You work so hard for the wedding, the vacation, the photo shoot, and the moment it's over, the purpose disappears. But this is the shift. Don't train for an event. Train for your identity. Train for your life. You don't go on a diet. You become the person who eats with purpose. You don't do a program. You become the person who moves daily, who works out regardless of the season. So if you only work when there's a finish line, you'll keep running in circles. The goal isn't to get there, it's to stay there. Question 7. Sometimes I feel like I'm doing everything right, but I'm not seeing a result. It's demoralizing. So this is one of the hardest phases. Usually, you could be putting in the work, but the scale doesn't move. But remember, results don't always show where you're looking. Progress happens on several levels. You got the visible, what you see in the mirror, performance, how much you lift, how fast you run, how you recover, your ability to improve mobility, and internal, your blood markers, your inflammation, your mood, your sleep, your confidence, your HRV. So if you're improving in some of these metrics, the visible always catches up, but only if you stay the course with consistency. Now, you don't plant a seed and dig it up every week to check to see if it's growing. You keep watering it. And that's what consistency is: trust over time. Question 8. I keep comparing myself to other people online who are way ahead of me. It makes me feel like I'm never doing enough. Well, my answer is that's the fastest way that you can go to kill your drive. You're comparing your progress to someone else's highlight reel. You don't see their history, you don't see their genetics, you don't see their stress or their struggles or how long they've been training. You only see the filtered version. Now, you can't win if you're running someone else's race. The only person you should compare yourself is to who you were last week. So track your metrics, your strength, your energy, your recovery, your consistency, your sleep, etc. Because what wins long term isn't the most motivated, it's the most patient. So have patience. Question 9. I feel like I can only stay consistent when I'm motivated. How do you stay so disciplined all the time? Um, I wouldn't say I am. I'm just consistent even when I'm not motivated. Discipline is doing it anyway. You don't need motivation to brush your teeth. You do it because it's part of who you are. Training and nutrition is part of who I am. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. So if you only move when you feel inspired, you'll spend most of your life sat in your ass or restarting. The real power is learning to act without needing the emotional high to do it. Usually, like I got in the ice bath twice today. I got in there when it was dark outside, it was cold. Did I want to go in it? No, but I did anyway, because it'll make me challenge things that are difficult and I'll do them anyway. Question 10. What is the number one reason most clients fail in your experience? They stop being honest with their coach, with me, and with themselves. They tell me that, or what they wish they did, not what they actually did. They hide behind the bad days. They skip the check-ins. They stop logging. They go AWOL, and they slowly drift. But the transformations aren't built on perfection. It's built on truth and transparency. So when you stop pretending and start reporting, we can fix anything. And failure isn't falling off. Failure is staying quiet when you do fall off. So you have to, stay in communication with your coach. That is the main thing. And when a client will say, "I only missed one meal. I only had one late night. I only was lacking in hydration today." That is the start of their demise. You should never have an only. Never have an only. Okay. That is obviously an obstacle that you need to fix. So, anyway, if you're listening right now and you recognize yourself in any of these questions, that's good, because awareness is step one. Everybody fails when they start, but what separates those ones that finish with the success is that they learn from failure instead of hiding from it. And you don't need perfect weeks. You need consistent honesty. You don't need more motivation. You just need more follow through. Whatever you start, you finish. And you don't need to start again Monday. You just need to not quit today, basically. So if this has hit home with you, maybe share it with a friend, a loved one, or someone who's been restarting over and over. If you're one of my clients, you already know, when's your next check-in, bro? It's you this week. So be honest, tell me where you're at. If you're not a client, obviously you can sign up by DMing me, or I apply by DMing me on Instagram. And that's how we win together. It's a group dynamic, and I think it's very important. It's not so much the perfect training, the perfect nutrition. It's the perfect coach that's going to keep you accountable. Did I just call myself perfect? Anyway, if you like this episode, please do subscribe to whatever channel that you're listening to. I really, really appreciate you coming on and listening to the end. So please do subscribe, share it with anyone that you feel that may have got some value from this episode. And until next week, this is the Kris Gethin Podcast, and we are out.